Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sunnydale Review. I'm Brian.
I'm Jillian.
Jillian, how you doing?
Good. Good. We're jumping into the second video we're recording today, so
Yeah,
I'm excited. Little nervous about this first one we have to cover, but
yeah.
overall generally excited.
Do you want to kind of go into a little bit of why you're nervous about it? Maybe give the audience a heads up. I'm sure they
Yeah.
know if they're listening, but you know.
So if you are familiar with the Buffy series, you may, or actually, I mean, it's possible you haven't seen Earshot. It is I want to include kind of a trigger warning here,
Okay.
just because it is an episode that deals with a school shooting.
Mm,
Um, so if you are triggered by school shootings or discussion of possible school shootings, please skip forward. We'll have the time card or the time code somewhere,
yeah,
either like on
definitely
the
in the
video or
description,
description. Yeah,
in the video and on um, iTunes podcast services. So
yeah.
yeah.
Um, I mean, this we're kind of skipping to the end here, but personally for me, this isn't like a must-watch episode.
Mm,
So if you feel like you might be triggered, if you just generally feel uncomfortable with discussion about potential school shootings, I I have no problem telling you that you can skip this episode.
mm. And
Um,
I guess we can kind of set. Well, I guess for anyone who wants to skip ahead now. We'll see you. We're talking about the episode after this. But for anyone sticking here, I guess we can kind of set the scene. This episode didn't air when it was originally supposed to, is correct?
Correct. So the last episode we talked about, which was Enemies, aired in March of 1999.
Mm,
This episode did not air until September 21st,
right.
about 2 weeks before the season 4 premiere.
Mm,
It was delayed for that long.
right. So it's not
Um,
especially plot relevant to the overall arc of the show,
Arc,
so they were
yeah.
just able to kind of just remove it from the original run of the season.
hmm
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I guess we can kind of jump into it a little bit here.
Mm,
I This one I'm not really excited to talk about. It's not one of my favorite episodes.
mm,
So I think we're just gonna kind of give a really high level of this one. I'll
yeah.
point out like the one scene that I really love about this
Mm,
episode
mm,
and just give you the high level plot points. But I'm not gonna. I mean, even my notes are not as in depth as they usually are for
right.
episodes that we cover.
Yeah.
Um,
And it should be mentioned it was pushed because in real life there was the Columbine tragedy
yeah.
that
Um,
I'm sure everyone's at least somewhat familiar with that.
So, Earshot season 3, episode 18, originally aired September 21st, 1999, was written by Jane Espenson and directed by Regis Kimball. Um, so when this episode was supposed to air, like Brian just said, the Columbine High School massacre occurred 1 week before this episode was originally scheduled to air. Because it included a scene with a student loading a rifle, apparently for mass murder, but in reality for suicide. The WB substituted a rerun of Bad Girls
Mm,
instead of airing this episode. The episode was delayed until September of 1999, 2 weeks before the season 4 premiere.
right.
Um, Also, kind of fun fact, because we'll be covering this episode in our next video, so I don't really feel like we're spoiling it.
Mm,
The the season 3 finale actually also was delayed due to concerns about school violence.
yeah, I mean, it must have been just obviously we were too young to really be conscious of anything going on
Yeah,
around us, but it must have
I was
been,
7.
yeah, it must have just been an insane time and networks. Everyone just didn't know what to do, what was
Yeah.
the right thing to do. So there's probably, I feel like if we looked back, there'd probably be lots of shows that were moved, delayed, and
Oh, for sure.
fortunately, it didn't hurt Buffy in terms of coming back for another season or anything like that. Not
Right.
having the finale when it was supposed to, but it just, people just felt like they needed some time to to
Yeah.
breathe after all that. So, yeah.
And considering that this was supposed to air the week after
Mm,
that happened, like it total 100% coincidence.
yeah.
Um
And we had talked
so
about it before. Like, Oz gets shot in a school.
mhm.
In an earlier episode, there's the episode with the couple, um, the ghost couple, where
Oh yeah,
people
the
getting
murder suicide.
shot in schools.
Yep.
Maybe that would happen on shows today. I don't know if we're more callous, but certainly not around the time after Columbine.
Right.
Just guns in schools would not be a thing.
Right.
So casually, it would be like the focus of a thing.
Yeah.
Because there's been episodes like I think Glee had an episode where a gun goes off in the school. I thought it was kind of a ripoff of Hush, but whatever. We won't go there. But and then like Degrassi, of course, had an episode where Drake got shot in a school.
Yeah. Even the Fosters on ABC Family or Freeform or whatever it was when that show aired,
Right.
they had a school shooting episode as
Yeah.
well.
So yeah, just wanted to kind of set the scene, give people a taste of the time that this
Yeah.
and why this got delayed. But yeah, let's talk about Earshot.
All right. So kind of the big story of this episode is that Buffy ends up getting into a fight with a demon at the beginning of the episode. She gets some of the demon's blood on her hand, which, because of the kind of demon it was, it's determined that she's going to develop some sort of aspect of the demon.
Right.
And through the course of the episode, they determine that she gains the ability to read people's minds because the demons have no mouths and therefore communicate telepathically.
Right.
So she gains the ability to read people's minds. She starts it starts off kind of slow. We see Buffy overhearing Xander's thoughts, wondering if Cordelia and Wesley have kissed, and just kind of they're slowly start to thoughts of other people slowly start to trickle into her head. Once she kind of figures out what's going on, she goes and tries to talk to Angel to see like what he's really thinking in his head, because he's a very quiet type. So she's like asking a bunch of questions like, how do you feel about this and whatever. It's determined that she can't read his mind because it's kind of like the mirror. The thoughts are there, but they have no reflection.
Right.
Kind of like how he's there, but he has no reflection in the mirror.
Right.
But he's like, you know what, just ask me anything and I'll be honest with you. Like, you don't need to have this extra superpower for me to tell you what I honestly think. And he ends up revealing to her that in 241 years he has loved exactly one person, and that's Buffy. I have a little question of, what about Darla?
Yeah.
But maybe that's
Vampire
when
love.
Yeah, he wasn't a souled vampire at that time, so it was a selfish love rather than a true love.
Right.
Let's see. Buffy fills in Giles about what's going on. There's one scene in this that I absolutely love. And it's the scene where Buffy and Giles are explaining to the rest of the Scoobies about her new aspect of the demon superpower. And she's kind of going around the room and listening to each person's thoughts. And Xander can only think about sex.
Yeah.
So that's no surprise there.
Right.
Oz has like these super deep thoughts. But like, he's a man of very few words. And that's like a running joke of the series.
Right.
But he has these super deep thoughts about like, well, if we are our thoughts and Buffy can hear our thoughts, therefore she becomes us, and blah blah blah, and goes on and on.
Yeah.
And then outwardly he just goes, huh. Which I think is so funny. We also see that Cordelia says exactly what she thinks.
That's my favorite part of this. Everyone else
like,
censors herself, not Cordelia.
In her head, she's like, I wonder if I can go now. And out of her mouth comes, can I go now?
Yeah.
Let's see. Willow is super supportive of Buffy verbally, but internally she worries about Buffy, and Buffy not needing her as a friend anymore,
Mm.
and that Buffy can hear people's thoughts and she'll know Oz better than Willow does, and it just kind of spirals from
Yeah.
there. Wesley is thinking about Cordelia. Oh man. But the Scoobies are unable to control their thoughts. One by one they are just uncomfortable with the situation and leave because they can't help what they're thinking in their
Yeah.
heads. So let's see. Buffy starts to get a headache from listening to everyone's thoughts. She goes out in the halls. She just starts getting bombarded. She can't control who she can hear anymore and who she can't. It's just all in her head. Um,
With episodes
let's
like
see.
this, taking a little tangent to real life. Remember, like
Yeah.
a few, maybe a month or two ago, where there was like that meme where some people don't have like a running internal dialogue.
Yeah.
It's like when I think about that, I'm like, what do people think then when they watch these kind of episodes? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like they're like, I don't get it. I don't get it. They never questioned it. They're not like, why are they having a full on conversation with themselves in their heads? You know,
Yeah.
and it's like, I don't know. I don't know, Jill. Anyways, back to Buffy.
Let's see. So Giles finds a record of a human developing this aspect of the demon before. Wesley asks if he can contact that person, but Giles says that the guy has put himself into um, complete isolation because he couldn't shut off the power and he started going insane.
Right.
So there starts to grow that concern that Buffy might like lose her mind if she can't shut out the voices. At lunch, Buffy becomes even more overwhelmed by all the thoughts. She ends up hearing a scary voice say, "This time tomorrow, I'll kill you all," before becoming completely overwhelmed and passing out.
Yeah.
The Scoobies drag her outside. She tells them what she heard. The Scoobies start doing kind of an investigation into different people they think might be looking to hurt people. Let's see. So Buffy is sent home. While at home, she picks up on Joyce's thoughts, and it's revealed that during the events of Band Candy, Joyce and Giles had sex on the hood of a cop car twice.
Yeah, it's kind of like playing around with, like, of course, if you find out someone can read your thoughts, you're going to think the thing you don't want them to know the most.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want them to know that her and Giles had sex on the hood of a car 2 times.
Cop car.
Cop car. Oh, man.
Let's see. So the Scoobies are like investigating. Sorry, I'm having an issue with my headphones here at the
That's
moment.
quite all right. Don't worry.
They just keep like, I can't put just one ear on because then they'll slide right off my head. So yeah. So let's see. Wesley and Giles discover a cure. They enlist Angel. He helps them get the cure. They cure Buffy. At school, Jonathan has brought a rifle to the clock tower. Jonathan is a character. He's a very minor character at this point. We've seen him a couple of times.
Always just
Let's
like
see.
the butt of the joke type of.
Oh, yeah. He's the Kenny of Buffy.
Right.
To make a South Park reference. So let's see. So Jonathan brought a rifle to the clock tower. The Scoobies think that he's the one planning on killing everyone. Buffy rushes to stop him. She has a kind of a heart-to-heart with him, explaining that he has problems, but so does everyone else, and no one really cares because they're all too busy dealing with their own problems.
Right.
Jonathan reveals that he wasn't planning on hurting anyone else, and he was just planning to kill himself with the giant rifle.
Yeah.
Not going to break down the logistics problems that I see with that, but okay.
Right.
In the cafeteria, so at that point they think that they've like stopped this whole thing and that everything's going to be fine. Xander goes into the cafeteria to grab some Jell-O, and stumbles across the lunch lady pouring rat poison into the school lunch.
Just straight up, like cartoon, like giant thing of rat poison.
Yeah. Like that box of rat poison could have come out of like the Acme Studios where Wile E. Coyote gets all of his weapons.
Exactly what I was thinking. Just with like crossbones on it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Let's see. So Xander tries to stop her. He gets into a fight with the lunch lady whose stunt double is really bad and looks like a fully grown man in a lunch lady costume. Buffy arrives to save Xander. before he is cleaved to death. She has the lunch lady has a cleaver. So yeah, they incapacitate the lunch lady and everybody's saved. Woohoo! The episode ends with Buffy revealing to Giles that she knows that he and Joyce had sex. Giles immediately walks into a tree. And so I have a couple of comments in here from Jane Espenson's commentary on this episode, because she actually wrote this episode. So in her commentary on the DVD, she reveals that she found out she was going to write this episode, and she knew she wanted the student in the tower to be Jonathan. Even though Danny Strong, who's the actor, has only had small comedic parts in the series over the years, she had faith that he would be able to handle like a dramatic scene, which was really cool. She also mentioned in her commentary that she introduced the exchange in which Buffy discovers that her mother and Giles in Van Candy had sex, because she was surprised that fans were not sure if they had or if they hadn't, and she wanted to eliminate any doubts.
It's like, yes, the band.
We also find out that Giles walking into a tree after Buffy told him that she knew was actually Anthony Stewart Head's idea. Although he did not expect Joss Whedon to actually let him do it.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's funny, because I feel like, when Joss probably heard that, he's like, oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
It's very true to the character. And if you think about it, so with TV shows, they generally bring in different directors, different writers. So it gets to a certain point where, besides executive producers and the executive writing team, these actors actually, because they're constantly with these characters day in and day out, actors can actually get to know their characters better than the writers do.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why when actors sometimes bring up ideas and they actually make it in the show, it's not really that surprising. Because I think another one I heard was with Game of Thrones. Sometimes the actors have ideas and they let them change the script and go forward with the idea, because these actors have been with these characters for so long, they actually know them better than the writers who keep coming in and out.
Right. Makes sense.
So I mean, what did you give for a rating on this one?
I gave it a 6. It's fine. It's a fine episode. It's mind reading's always a fun thing, but it also has the more dramatic elements. Then also juxtaposed with another funny scene of a giant box of poison. So I don't know. What'd you give it?
I gave it a 6. I don't know. I like this.
Same
this
page.
Is not. I have episodes that I will go back to and watch over and over and over again. This is not one of those episodes. This is not an episode that I watch for fun.
Right.
I don't. Besides watching it to take notes for it, I don't remember the last time I watched this episode, except if I was just doing a straight up binge of the entire series.
No, I get you.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, we talked about it before. It doesn't really play a big role in the overall season arc. The focus right now should be on the mayor and what's going on with that. He's the big bad of the season. This is kind of a step away from that. So it's a one-off episode, and it clearly didn't really have a major impact on the season as a whole, which is why they were easily able to just not air it.
Right. All right. Well.
So yeah.
So for the people who skipped ahead, welcome back. We are going to get into the next episode, which is
Choices. Season 3, episode 19. Originally aired May 4th, 1999. Written by David Fury and directed by James A. Cottner. So yeah, I guess we'll just jump into it here.
Let's do it.
So the mayor has bought Faith a new toy, a fancy knife.
It is a cool knife, in fairness.
It is. He sends her to the airport to do him a favor in picking up a box. Buffy is out slaying with Angel and starts talking to him about the future. She thinks their relationship is in a rut because Angel doesn't take her anywhere new. I have in my notes, I guess they got back together in Earshot. He cure her,
Hmm.
but I don't know, it's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
I think they're just back together because the plot kind of demanded it.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Yeah, this is an
We
important
find out.
episode for like the reasoning of him spinning off, I feel like.
Yeah. We find out that Buffy was accepted to Northwestern University and but she's not like overexcited about it. Joyce is ecstatic. At school the next day, the Scoobies are all talking about what schools they got into. Buffy is frustrated and disappointed because with Faith working for the bad guys, she can't leave for college. Like at one point, she thought she might be able to.
Yeah.
But she doesn't. She also doesn't know how to break it to her mom. She figures she will likely be going to UC Sunnydale. I have a note in my I have a note in my notes here. When did Sunnydale get a college? Is this the same college where the fraternity tried to sacrifice her in season 2?
I feel like yes. I feel like yes. It has to be, right?
I don't know. Like, we know that there's a private girls' school right outside of town, but like season 1, they describe Sunnydale as like a 1 block between the good side of town and the bad side of town kind of town. So I don't know like how they all of a sudden have a college. But yeah.
I don't know. Again, the plot demanded it.
Yeah. So let's see. Willow got into all of the schools.
Of course.
Including Oxford, where they make Giles's.
So good.
Xander is planning on taking a road trip / backpacking trip / adopting a wanderer lifestyle. Buffy talks to Wesley about wanting to leave Sunnydale to go to college after she graduates. Wesley invokes the power invested in him by the council and forbids Buffy from leaving Sunnydale. Buffy just rolls her eyes. She tries to bargain with Giles and Wesley, saying that they should let her go if she defeats the mayor and captures Faith before she leaves. She also promises to come back for every school break and help them. I think it's so funny. It's like when Wesley forbids it, he does like this really stupid like by the power invested in me by the Watchers Council, blah, 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 I forbid it. It's like, dude, what are you doing? No wonder nobody takes you seriously.
Like, okay, nerd.
Exactly. Oh man, I don't have it in my notes here, but I know that when Buffy tells Giles that she got into Northwestern, Giles is like, "That's amazing. Your mother must be so proud." And Buffy goes, "Yeah, when she saw the news, her head spun around and exploded." And Giles goes, "I've been living on the Hellmouth too long. That was metaphorical, right?" And she's like, "Oh, yes, she was just very excited. She's fine." Let's see. So Faith picks up the mayor's box at the airport. She brings the box to City Hall, and Buffy watches her bring it in. Faith brings the box to the mayor and goes to peek inside when his back is turned, and the mayor almost has a panic attack. We find out that the box is filled with spider creatures that the mayor has to consume in order to complete the next step in his ascension.
Disgusting.
Oh my god. As someone who is freaked out by spiders, and I'm talking about like I am freaked out by spiders that are smaller than like anything.
Yeah.
Knowing that these things are massive, I'm just like, nope.
And you have
nope,
to
don't
eat
open
them.
the box.
Oh.
Don't open the box.
Yeah.
Buffy beats up one of the vampires who helped deliver the box, and he reveals that the box is known as the Box of Gavrock. Buffy brings that back to the Scoobies, and they devise a plan to break into City Hall and steal the box, thus trying to prevent the mayor's ascension.
Yes.
While walking around town, Xander spots Cordelia in a store and decides to resume the verbal boxing match they had going on earlier in the episode. Xander thinks that the reason Cordelia lashed out at the group while they were discussing future plans is because she didn't get into any schools. Cordelia proves that that's not true, revealing she got into USC, Colorado State, Duke, and Columbia.
Some pretty good schools.
Yeah. Goes back to the episode where they got their SAT scores, and Xander was like, "Wow, you did really good." And she's like, "Oh, please, I have some experience with covering this stuff up."
Right.
Like, Cordelia is actually really smart. Let's see. Xander throws a quip at her about her dad paying for colleges to let her in, and Cordelia tells him to go away.
Yeah.
It's clearly a yeah. She's not having a great financial situation right now. Um, so let's see. That night, Buffy, Willow, and Angel put their plan into action to break into City Hall and steal the box. Xander and Oz are back in the library, readying a spell/potion to destroy the box once the team has it. And Giles and Wesley are in the getaway car. I really think that should have been switched, and Giles and Wesley should have been at the library preparing the the destroying spell.
Right.
And Xander and Oz should have been in the van, but
Oz for sure. It's his van.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. Angel lowers Buffy in through a skylight on a rope. It's very like cartoon burglar / Mission Impossible.
Right.
Let's see. It turns out the Mission Impossible had actually come out 2 years before this episode, so they might have actually been trying to rip off.
Yeah.
Or not rip off, homage. Yeah. Mission Impossible here. Buffy is caught at the last minute, and a fight breaks out. Honestly, I think this is just an excuse for the writers and stunt coordinators to write in a fight scene where Buffy is up on cables.
Right.
Something a little bit different. Angel and Buffy manage to successfully steal the box and run off, but Willow is captured in the process. This is probably the reason why Oz wasn't in the van, because he would have refused to leave without her.
Right.
Back at the library, the Scoobies are trying to regroup and figure out how to get Willow back. Buffy wants to give the box back and trade it for Willow, but Wesley is insisting that they destroy the box. Oz, clearly upset that the rest of the group are entertaining the idea of not prioritizing saving Willow by any means necessary, destroys the cauldron and takes the choice out of everyone's hands.
Love it.
In my notes I have, yes, Oz is awesome. I love Oz.
Yeah.
So let's see. After being locked in a room in City Hall, one of the mayor's vampire lackeys, who was supposed to be watching Willow, decides to try to bite her. Willow ends up staking him using the floating pencil spell we saw earlier.
Love this. Yeah, this is such a good scene.
Yeah. Let's see. Willow escapes the room where she is being held and decides to go exploring, probably trying to find a way out. Willow finds her way to the mayor's office and comes across the Books of Ascension. She stops to read the Books of Ascension.
Mm-hmm.
Why, Willow? Why? You are trying to escape, and you're just like, ooh, books!
Yeah,
like, I'm sorry.
This is a bad move. Just carry them.
She could have easily stolen one and probably made it out of City Hall, and then they would have been missing, steal, the last one so they don't know how to complete anything.
Yeah.
Come on, girl. So eventually Faith comes across her, points out that she's an idiot for stopping to read the books. Sorry, Willow, I gotta be with Faith on this one. You did not think that through. Willow fires back with words telling Faith that she's a worthless waste, so Faith punches her in the face.
Oh boy.
Oh, Willow. I appreciate that you've found this new confidence and that you are growing as a person, but at the same time, please, logic. Please just do logic.
Yeah.
So let's see. So the two sides, meaning the Scoobies versus the mayor and his side, decide to trade Willow for the box and meet up at the school cafeteria. During the meetup, Mayor Wilkins decides to put in his 2 cents on Buffy and Angel's relationship, telling them that he doesn't see much of a future for them since Angel is immortal and Buffy is not. And he reminds them if Angel gets too happy, he'll turn evil again, and questions Angel about what kind of life he can offer Buffy.
It is kind of like in a perverse way, like a dad.
Oh, yeah.
Talking to, the boyfriend. But
yeah. And it's one of those things where Giles in his father figure area will always support Buffy, even if he doesn't think she's necessarily making the right choice. The mayor is the first person to, he will take every opportunity to dig and poke and just play on the insecurities that he knows they probably already have.
Yep.
He's just a manipulative asshole. But anyway, so while they're doing this exchange, the box for Willow, Snyder bursts in with the cops, thinking he's about to stop a drug deal. When he realizes the mayor is there, he starts to kiss his ass.
Yeah.
During which time, one of the cops opens the box of Gavrox and is attacked by one of the spider demons. Faith kills the demon by throwing her knife across the room and pinning it against the wall.
Again.
As
cool.
they all disperse, the mayor and his gang with the box and the Scoobies with Willow, Snyder remarks, "Why couldn't you just be dealing drugs like normal people?"
Which is a good line.
Also, I have a note here. Faith leaves the knife behind. Plot-wise, this makes sense, but seeing as she was so excited about the gift the mayor gave her, not sure why she did it.
Yeah.
Now reunited with Willow, she tells the Scoobies about what happened, and it turns out she stole a couple pages out of the Books of Ascension and hands them to Giles for research. Wesley points out that since they didn't destroy the box, the mayor is likely to complete his ascension. The chances of Buffy being able to leave for college are pretty much gone.
Yeah.
And the episode ends with Willow and Buffy talking. Willow decides she wants to stay in Sunnydale and keep fighting the good fight alongside her friends rather than pursuing her higher education elsewhere.
Pretty selfless, but
yeah,
she feels that she could contribute to the cause.
Yeah. So I mean, for ratings, I gave this one 7 stakes. I feel like it's weird giving it only 1 point higher than Earshot, but
yeah, I gave it an 8. And I can't wait to talk about the next episode.
Okay, but before we get there, as far as Watch or Pass, this is a very plot advancing episode with a lot of things that needed to happen, so I say watch for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, and then the last episode that we're going to be covering in this video is season 3, episode 20, The Prom.
The Prom. It's really good.
Has a very nostalgic and sentimental place in most Buffy fans' hearts.
Yeah.
So just to jump into this one, The Prom originally aired May 11th, 1999, written by Marty Noxon and directed by David Solomon. So let's see. The episode opens with Buffy having slept over the mansion with Angel after a night of slaying. She wakes up with massive bedhead and comments that she should make the mansion more girl-friendly by putting in some mirrors. She also... Huh?
I was giggling at that.
She also mentioned that maybe she could move in some of her stuff and asked him why he hasn't asked her to prom yet. She then pulls back a curtain, not thinking about the fact that it's now morning outside, and accidentally lets in sunlight right onto Angel. He gets out of the way fast enough to not burst into flames, but it's clearly a close call.
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah. Not great. So let's see. I do think it's funny that, like, I mean, I think she pulled away a curtain in front of, like, a door. Like, you didn't have an actual door. It's just, like, a curtain over an opening.
Right.
It's like, couldn't, like, a breeze do that?
Right.
So let's see. Xander runs into Anya. We haven't seen her since Doppelgangland. She still hates men, but at the same time asks Xander to go to the prom with her.
She's got all these feelings that she can't get rid of now.
She's like, all men are evil, but will you go with me?
It's pretty adorable.
I'm actually, like, thinking about it now, I am slightly surprised that she wasn't, like, a lesbian, just because of how much she hates men.
Yeah. I mean, she loved men at first, right? And then she got turned into a
vengeance demon after having a really bad boyfriend.
Right. So now
who she turned into a troll.
So now she's come back to the being a human. She's back to her old ways.
Yeah.
What can you do, love, you know?
But it's like she remembers everything that she did as a vengeance demon and all of, like, the things that men did to girlfriends when girlfriends, like, would invoke her to take revenge on their boyfriends. Yeah. So, like, she knows all of the bad things that all of those boyfriends did and why the girlfriends had to take revenge.
I was about to say, oh, and maybe she just doesn't think Xander's one of those people, but it's like, no, she got called because of Xander.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, Jill. I don't know.
So let's see. Joyce visits Angel at the mansion. She questions the kind of future that Angel and Buffy could have. She says, I think we both know that there are some hard choices ahead. If she can't make them, you're going to have to.
Mm,
I know you care about her. I just hope you care enough.
right.
So finally, Joyce showing up and doing something. I mean, we haven't seen her since what, Gingerbread? With the
That
whole
sounds right. Yeah.
mothers opposed to the occult or whatever, moo.
Mm,
So yeah, the Scoobies meet up at the library and start to try to figure out what demon the mayor is going to turn into during the ascension. The conversation turns to prom, and Giles tells them that tells them all they need to focus. Buffy argues that the apocalypse is coming on graduation day, so everyone deserves to have a fun time before that happens. It's like, if
yeah.
we're all gonna die, we might as well just make the most of what we have left.
Yeah, I feel like, this is a thing you see in a lot of stuff, like before the war, one last night.
Yeah. So let's see. Angel has a dream that he and Buffy get married. As they exit the church, they walk out into the sunlight. Angel is miraculously fine, but Buffy bursts into flames.
Yeah,
Um,
kind of metaphor that him being there will destroy Buffy.
Yep, for sure. Later, Angel and Buffy are hunting for vampires in the sewer. Buffy is asking Angel about getting a tux for prom. Angel asks her if she's getting too invested in the whole prom thing, and she points out to him that this is the stuff she's supposed to be invested in. Prom, graduation, and growing up. Angel finally reaches his breaking point and confesses to her that he's been struggling, what he's been struggling with for like the last few episodes. That them being together isn't right for her future, and she deserves more. And eventually, she will want a normal life. She says that she wants her life to be with Angel, and he says, I don't. Meaning, I don't want my life to be with you.
Yeah, he doesn't want her life to be with him.
Yeah, this kind of goes to what Joyce was saying to him about, she loves you. And if you want to break up with her, like, you're going to have to be the one to do it, because she's not going to do it.
Yeah.
So this is Angel just, like, breaking her heart, but knowing in the long run that is probably what's better for her. Because eventually she might want to have kids, and she might want to have a normal life, or as normal of a life as she can.
Right.
And he can't give her those things.
Right.
So let's see. Buffy asks how she's supposed to stay away from him. Angel tells her that he's leaving after the ascension if they both survive.
So at least he'll stick around to try to end it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. Buffy invites Willow over to her house, and they talk about Angel breaking up with Buffy. Willow tries to console her, and like stick up for her, telling her that Angel is a big dumb guy. I love that. That's like Willow's insult. Like, she won't go into like bad language or start saying, she's like, he's just a big dumb guy.
Yes, you're right, Willow.
Buffy tells her that she doesn't need to say that, and Willow answers, but that's the best friend's job, vilifying the guy who hurt her friend. Buffy admits that she thinks that he might be right in the long run, and Willow, not able to speak honestly, instead of feeling like she needs to play the best friend, actually agrees as well. So she's like, I couldn't say it before, but I can agree with you. So yeah. Later, Xander is out walking around town and sees Cordelia through the dress shop window again. He heads inside to throw a few more insults her way, and he discovers that she's actually working in the dress shop. Apparently, the IRS took all of her dad's money, and now she's working at the store to try to pay for her dress for prom. So she's trying to work up enough money to actually pay for her dress.
Right.
Yeah, I feel bad for Cordelia. So let's see. While they're talking, a hellhound breaks into the dress shop through the window and attacks a guy wearing a tux before running away. Xander somehow gets the security tape and brings it back to the Scoobies. And while they're reviewing it, they discover that there's a guy outside watching the whole thing. They discover it's Tucker Wells. It's a guy that they went to school with who graduated like the year before or something. Willow hacks into his email and discovers he's planning on attacking the prom. Through the episode, we've seen short scenes of him training / conditioning the Hellhounds to hate anyone dressed in formal attire by forcing them to watch prom movie scenes. The Scoobies consider warning everyone and getting the school to cancel prom, but Buffy decides that she won't stand for that. She thinks that everyone deserves the prom and that she's going to make sure they all have a good time. She gets Tucker's address and decides to go after him, while she tells the rest of the Scoobies to go home and get ready because they're going to have an awesome prom. Let's see. We get to see the Scoobies at the prom. Xander is there with Anya, who clearly doesn't know how to make small talk, so she's telling him all the stories of the horrible things she did to men during her times as a vengeance demon. Wesley is there as a chaperone, but is only watching Cordelia. Giles thinks he's ridiculous, but eventually goes and tells Wesley to ask Cordelia to dance. I mean, Wesley can only be like, what, probably early 20s?
Yeah.
Cordelia's 18. She's a consenting adult.
Right.
They can do what they want.
Right. He doesn't work for the school. He's just there all the time.
And no one questions it.
Right.
At least Giles worked there.
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to say? That Wesley is his librarian intern? Like,
yeah. This is my nephew.
Snyder will just be like, when did I approve a budget for you to have an intern?
Yeah. Well, it's unpaid.
Let's see. Cordelia thanks Cordelia thanks Xander for the anonymous donation. There was a small scene earlier where we saw her finding out that the dress had been paid off. Somehow Xander paid it off. Where does he get money? Does he have a job?
I think it was supposed to be, I don't know, he must have been saving up for his cross-country trip, maybe.
Oh, maybe.
And decided to spend it on that instead. I don't know.
That makes sense.
I don't know, though. They didn't explicitly lay that out.
They don't explain it. I think this was kind of Xander's last attempt to apologize and ask forgiveness for the events that happened earlier in the season between him and Willow. Yeah. It seems clear that, like, Cordelia's forgiven him, but she doesn't want to, like, get back together with him.
Yeah. Understandable.
So, yeah. Buffy gets to Tucker's house and confronts him. We find out his motivation for wanting to attack the prom. Turns out he was turned down for the prom by the girl he liked, so he decided to attack it. Right. Tucker also reveals that he's already released the Hellhounds and they should be headed for the school. Buffy races to the school, tracks down the Hellhounds and kills them just before they are able to make it to the gym where the dance is being held. Okay, so question for you.
Sure.
Where was your prom held?
My prom was held at South Station, I think it's called. So it's like this train station in the city near where my school was. So it wasn't held at school.
But it was like an event hall, right?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, because my prom was held in an event hall at a hotel. So I'm like, this is prom. Why did they have it in the gym?
I think it's just like a thing that probably used to happen when schools were smaller and.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Was your school
also, they already
big?
had the set.
Right. Your school was pretty big, I assume.
There were like 500 kids in my graduating class.
That's big. That's definitely big.
We my school exceeded the fire hazard limit for people every time we had a pep rally, which is why I never felt bad. I never felt bad skipping out of pep rallies because I'm like, I'm keeping everyone else safe.
You don't want to die in a fire.
Yeah.
It's understandable.
They never, the pep rallies at my high school never called out the drama club. They only ever called out the sports teams, even if even if the drama club had a show that week. We didn't get even a shout out of like, hey, go support the drama club, blah blah blah, they're doing this really awesome show. No, it was always just the sports teams. So
no respect.
No.
Messed up. But yeah, same with mine. We were about 500 kids as well, so
yeah. So let's see. So Buffy basically saves the day. The Hellhounds are dead. She gets changed into her prom dress and is able to attend the rest of the prom with her friends. While giving out awards, we see Jonathan up on stage and he asks if Buffy Summers is there. The spotlight finds her by the punch bowl in the crowd. Um, so I have the speech in my notes.
Okay.
So Jonathan gives this speech to Buffy where he says, "We're not good friends. Most of us never found the time to get to know you, but that doesn't mean that we haven't noticed you. We don't talk about it much, but it's no secret that Sunnydale High isn't like other schools. A lot of weird stuff happens here." And kids start calling out from the crowd, "Zombies, hyena people, Snyder." And then Jonathan continues, "But whenever there was a problem or something creepy happened, you seemed to show up and stop it. Most of the people here have been saved by you or helped by you at one time or another. We're proud to say that the class of 99 has the lowest mortality rate of any graduating class in Sunnydale history."
Oh my God.
At which point everyone cheers and claps. It's like, yay, we're not dead.
Give it a couple days.
Yeah. And then he continues, "And we know at least part of that is because of you. So the senior class offers its thanks and gives you this." He holds up it's a little pink parasol with a little placard on it. And he says, "It's from all of us. It has written here, Buffy Summers Class Protector." And with this, Buffy finally receives the recognition from her classmates for all of the hard work she has done over the past 3 years. And it's such a sweet moment. Like, they cut over to Giles a couple of times and you can just see like the proud father. It's just that emotion is just written all over his face. Right. And everyone is very just very gracious of her finally, because she's had to keep this identity a secret, and clearly she didn't do a great job of that because they all knew that she was a Slayer. But just the fact that they don't know why she does it. They don't know that it's her destiny or whatever, but they're like, you know what, she's not this weird girl. She's actually been helping keep us safe.
Right.
So just seeing her have that moment is just so sweet. Let's see. Later at the dance, during a slow song, Buffy is watching everyone dance, and Angel shows up in a tux. He says that it's a big night and he didn't want to miss it. He tells her that it's just for tonight and he's still planning on leaving if they all survive the ascension. But he gives Buffy a dance, and it's just incredibly bittersweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how the episode ends. I gave it 9 stakes. I love this episode. Yep. It holds such a sentimental spot in my heart. And for Watch or Pass, I have in my notes, the actual bad guy of this episode is pretty lame, but the episode packs an emotional punch like few others do. The nostalgia factor is real with this one.
Yeah, I gave it a 9 as well. Just a wonderful episode, like you said. Good to see Buffy get the respect she deserves.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it for this episode, right?
Yes, it is. I'm very excited for the next episode because we are talking about the 2-part finale of Season 3, Graduation Day, Part 1 and 2. These are massive episodes. Guys, you're not going to want to miss us talking about this. It's going to be so much fun.
Exactly. And Jill, where can they find you online?
So I have been attempting to live tweet while I've been watching Season 4. I'm about 5 episodes in as of the recording of this episode. If you guys like it, please go on Twitter. I'm at Jillian_Swan. That's Swan with 2 N's. And I don't know, comment, follow me, whatever. I don't really understand Twitter, but if you guys are enjoying my live tweeting, even if you're not seeing them while they're live, or while I'm live tweeting, I don't understand Twitter, but I might continue doing it if people are liking it. So go and like those tweets for Season 4.
Yes. And anything else you'd like to shout out?
Occasionally you can find me on the Grassblock UK channel over on Twitch. I'm usually either in the comments or occasionally actually joining them on the stream. So
Cool.
if you want to watch some people have some fun playing some games and mostly poking fun at each other, it's a good time.
Absolutely, go check them out. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at the fake BMAR. That's BMARR. The channel is at WG Everything on Instagram, at Wicked Good Everything on Twitch, at twitch.tv/Wicked Everything, and on TikTok now. At just search Wicked Good Everything, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.
The Sunnydale Review is a Wicked Good Everything production. The fan art of Buffy was created by Fishbone Art. The logo was created by Tamar Kutab. The original intro and outro song was created by Alex Carl.